Then there is another type which is called as impulsive type or hyperactive type. These children, they have very squirmy behavior. They can't sit even for a minute at one place. They always keep on moving. They'll have incessant talk, blurting out. Then they are impatient. They keep jumping from one issue to another issue. Continuously, they cannot talk. Easily get diverted from one thing to another thing. See, this is another area of problem that you see. See, then there are a few other issues. For example, say children you can find like opposition defiant disorder. See, ODD they say. These children say often lose their temper very easily. They are argumentative. They develop a deceit behavior. They are annoying and always blame others for their mistakes. They are irritable. They get angry. Say they are vindictive. Generally, what they do is they oppose the authority figure, either at home or at the school. So this is the general behavior of these people. That needs for it can be due to many issues that needs to be identified and then appropriately treated. Then you can also come across children with conduct disorder. See, conduct disorder, their conduct will be normal, not normal. They will have acts of aggression. They are cruel to animals. They are always threatening, bullying their friends, fighting, causing harm to others, fire setting, always rule violation. See, these are the some of the problems that you come across in such children. Again, it could be behavioral disorder due to behavioral problem, or it could be some other psychological problem or some other issue which needs to be identified and then appropriately dealt with. So one more area is what you call as anxiety. See, what is anxiety? See, anxiety is a perception of a future threat and then becoming anxious because of that fear of the imagined or perceived threat. See, children up to 18 months of age becoming anxious is very normal because they will have yet to develop the social relationship. They will be very close only with the mother or the parents or people at home. So with strangers, they will definitely will have that anxiety developing. That is okay. But another problem, if it is the anxiety is beyond this or causing some difficulty, then it needs to be identified. See, children, as I told earlier in my earlier talk, are not very expressive. They cannot verbalize their emotions. So the distress they carry results in maladaptive behavior. This maladaptive behavior makes them become anxious. So some of the anxiety that is exhibited we come across is what you call as suppression anxiety. Such kids, see, they are very, very anxious when they are to leave the house or they are separated even for a small time from the caregiver or the mother. They become very, very tense, and if it is causing distress or impairs social relationship because of this anxiety, which is beyond the age or excessive of the age, particular age related, then it needs to be looked into. Many times you can see children, see, they are clinging to their mother. Even for a minute, they are not able to leave the mother. So such children, when they are sent to school, they become very, very anxious. They start crying. And many times they may exhibit some symptoms through which they can avoid going to school. All these things we come across. They may try to avoid situations which makes them move away from either house or their loved ones. Then another problem that you come across is panic. Unprovoked, spontaneous, say, and intense fear of the impending disaster or doom, what you call, is the causes this panic. See, once that panic is, you can see this even in adults also. This panic, see, they start sweating, heartbeat increases, they feel short of breath. This is again a perceived fear. So this also needs to be looked into. Another area that we come across is normally this can happen even, we see it even in adults, is obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, that is what you call. It is, say, an action indulging in repetitive behaviors. We see many people, including children and adults, keep on washing their hands repeatedly. Beyond, say, many times, hundreds of times, they keep on washing, say, repeatedly. Or counting repeatedly, just to confirm that the same thing, they have counted it properly. Or whether ensuring that we have locked the house properly or not. Repeatedly they start looking at it. Then praying to the whatever deity that they worship repeatedly, in excessive than what is normally, or repeating the same words. See, this is an excessive behavior. They are also aware, the person who is doing it is also aware of it, that I am doing something excessive. But still they can't overcome it, that they keep on doing it. See, it is also an excessive intrusion of thoughts which create anxiety. Though to overcome that anxiety, they keep on doing this. So this requires some counseling, behavior modification, and then appropriately deal with depending on the intensity of the problem. So one more thing that we come across both with children as well as adults is the conversion disorder. See, people do come with somatic problems. Somatic means some bodily problem. I have throat pain, I have difficulty in swallowing, I have some stomach ache, or say some physical problem they come, but you find there is nothing wrong after examination. So they repeatedly, even after confirming that, after undergoing all the tests, laboratory tests, everything, the person is normal, but the problem remains. In fact, it is not a made-up problem many times. The person who has come with the problem will be really suffering from the whatever description that is given. But it is actually a psychological problem. So that has to be dealt with. What is the reason? So that needs to be looked into. It may be due to stress, or it may be a conflict in the mind, or it can be anxiety that they are suffering, whatever it is. So that needs to be looked into. As I told you, see, these problems generally are, in fact, school children. See, many times they get fever when they are not willing to go to school. They have some anxiety at the school. They really get fever just to avoid schools. They get stomach pain. They avoid going to school. Such are all the issues, what you call as conversion disorder. It needs to be looked into from a psychological angle and appropriately counseled. Another problem that we come across with children is the elimination disorder. So there are two types of elimination disorder. That is, one is what you call as encopresis, that is passing tools at inappropriate places. Passing stools, I mean, at inappropriate places. If this happens beyond the age of 4 years, then it needs some examination, because it is, see, normally by the age of 4, the toilet training would have been given, and children would be knowing as to where they should go and then how to behave. This can be for two reasons. One may be because of the anxiety that they are suffering, or can be due to oppositional behavior, just to inconvenience the person whom they are opposing. See, this could be the reason that needs to be looked into. Another problem is bedwetting. This you call as enuresis. Normally, see, after 5 years, children will not have this problem. 95% of the children will not have this problem, but some children do have this problem. But by and large, these two disorders will all right by 10 years. Beyond 10 years, if it continues, it needs to be looked at seriously. Then there can be a few more disorders that we come across. Another one is called tics disorder, where the person concerned will have sudden repetitive movements in face, neck, or sudden jerking like this, say, sudden jerking movements, thumb sucking. All these problems also can be noticed in some children. So it needs some examination if it continues or if it is beyond a particular level. Another problem that we come across with children is they start eating mud or sand or even insects. See, this is a difficult, normally this behavior starts after 1 year and may continue up to 2 years. But people will have to watchful because it can cause physical problem also. See, if they start eating something which is creating harm for the physical health, so that from that angle they should be very watchful and conscious. And then you should also find out what is the reason. So it needs some examination. So these are all some of the general problems that we come across with children when they start growing up. Parents and teachers are the people who are watching these children for a major part of the day. So they should be observing the children and look out for such problems, and it should be reported to the concerned people so that early diagnosis can be done and suitable intervention needs to be done. Another important factor that all of us should understand is, just because you see some symptoms of like this, the child should not be branded that the child is say mentally retarded, or it has some anxiety problem, or it has OCD problem. It should not be branded unless it is creating problem for the regular behavior and it is certified by the competent authorized people. Children should not be branded. So it is only a alarm that they should notice and take the child to the appropriate people for examination and ruling out any disorder. I think this caution needs to be exercised by all of us when we bring up our children. And the school teachers have a greater responsibility because they are observing the child throughout the day. So these are all the care that we need to take.